A few years ago, I hired a personal trainer who came from another club. He told me an interesting story about that club. He said it was dingy, it was dirty, there were no mirrors, really no windows and no signage, but it was a really busy club, and he had a lot of clients there. Well, that club was fairly successful despite what its appearance might say. So what the owner decided to do was move it to a new location with lots of windows, better signage, new equipment. It was much cleaner, it had locker rooms, showers. Amazing change, huh? Here's the problem. That club failed. And you want to know why? Because that owner didn't bother to ask the people that were already going there what they liked about it and what experience they were looking for. He then created a new experience for those same members based on what he thought they would like. And that's a destined way to fail. We always want to seek member feedback, and there are plenty of great ways to do that. In this session today, I'm going to share a unique way of doing that, and that's by engaging with your members through a member advisory board. Hello everybody, I'm Chris Stevenson, the owner of Be Military Fit Los Angeles Westlake. I've been in our awesome industry for over 20 years, owned and operated different clubs. I'm on the URSA board of directors. I've done a bunch of consulting and had the opportunity to literally present all over the world. It's been absolutely amazing. But again, today what I want to talk to you about is how to create a member advisory board. So the three things we'll talk about are selecting members, assigning pre-work, and creating an agenda. You can't have a member advisory board without having members on it. So selecting members is the key first step in the process. Now here are two different ways that you can go about doing so. One is you can have an application process where you advertise and members apply to be on the board. And then you'll have criteria where you decide which members you feel would be the best fit. Now there's some pros to that. If somebody takes the initiative to apply, they're obviously sincerely interested, and they're more likely to do the work to make the member advisory board effective. The con, though, might be, and we've seen this, sometimes people apply for self-serving interest. And as a board member, you're supposed to represent the membership in general. But again, if somebody applies, they may want to be on the board just for personal reasons or things that they personally would like to see at the club. The second way is you simply select the members. Now, the pros to this method are you can select the demographic of members that you want. In that first method of people apply, maybe you get the same type of people applying. So it really doesn't give you a broad demographic of people. When you select it, you can pick the people that participate in training, that just use the gym by themselves, that participate in Group X, that come in the morning, at night, different genders, different ages. You can really get a mixed demographic if you select the people. The con might be, though, if you ask somebody to do it, they may do it because there will be perks involved, which we'll talk about later. So they may not necessarily be super interested and may not do as much work as somebody who would apply would do. So you've got those two things. You can have people apply or you can select the people. You figure out which works for you. I've seen it work both ways. I've always preferred to select the members myself, but again, figure out what works best for you and your club. So here's an example of a poster we had made for one of the previous clubs that we owned and operated. As you can see, we've got all of the members, their names, and a nice message on there. So once you select the members and you have this member advisory board, it's very important that you promote it so that all your membership base sees it. And that's important for a couple reasons. One, most clubs don't do it. So it's an instant differentiator. So imagine even a prospect coming on a tour, seeing that sort of signage in the front, they're going to be impressed that you even have that. Because I'm sure the last 4 or 5 clubs that they toured didn't have one. So it's a great thing for members to see. Members also realize, wow, they care about our opinions and we actually have a voice. So those are powerful reasons to promote this in an effective way. The other thing is, ultimately, again, a board member is a liaison for the general membership. So when other members see the members and they see the pictures and the names, they know who they can go to because these are your board members. These are the people that they can confide in, they can offer their opinions and share feedback because they know that feedback will then be given to you. So when you put this membership advisory board together, make sure you do your best to promote it. And not just in posters, but in social media, in your newsletters, and in other communications with your entire membership base. So once you have your members selected and you're promoting and you're advertising it, the other thing you want to think about is sort of the logistics of it. How long is a board member's term? Do you want everybody expiring at the same time, or do you want to rotate members on and off to keep some continuity? Those things have to be decided. You also want to decide what sort of perks you're going to give the members for being on the board because they are giving you their time and their opinions and they're really investing themselves into making your club create a better experience for your members. So what are you going to give them? Possibly it's a free membership or a discount on programming or some specialized gear. But think about the perks that you want to provide for these members. So again, it all boils down to, do you want to have people apply or do you want to select them? Think about the duration of the term, the logistics of the perks, and then ways you're going to promote it so that your entire membership base knows that you want to engage with them through creating such an incredible program that's unique to your facility. What I've seen with my experience with membership advisory boards is you want to prepare them for the meeting by assigning pre-work. When you assign pre-work, a couple things happen. One, it sets the tone that these member advisory board meetings aren't just social events where we'll talk about things, but they're events that you take very seriously and you want to get real value out of. So you're going to ask these people to do some pre-work ahead of time to prepare for those meetings. They will also feel more invested because now there's a little homework piece that they've got to do. Again, it's not show up and chat. It's, wow, these are serious things. This is a serious event, and we've got to take the time to prepare for this. And again, when you prepare for these meetings, it allows you to run them much more effectively. It's not a waste of time for you hosting them. It also shows the members that, hey, we're grateful that you're on this board, and we're not going to waste your time. We're going to prepare as much as possible to make sure that we get the very most out of all the meetings that we have. So here are some tangible examples of pre-work. One question I think is very valuable is why this facility? So our last club, Stevenson Fitness, it would be why Stevenson Fitness? Our current operation, Be Military Fit Los Angeles Westlake, it would be why BMF Westlake, right? We want to know why people come to you. In an era where competition is fierce and there are so many options, and not just brick and mortar options, but in-home options and digital and virtual options, people have a lot to choose from. So forcing them to think about why they really come to you is a very powerful tool. Another one is a start, stop, and continue survey. So basically it's as simple as this. Hey, what do you want us to start doing as a facility that we're not doing? What do you want us to stop doing that's annoying to you that we're currently doing? And what are we doing really well that you want us to continue doing? Again, a very simple question, but it prompts people to think in a different way. Hey, what do you like and what do you want us to do more of? What do you want? What's annoying that we should stop doing? Because again, sometimes as operators, we think we know what's best, but when the members tell us, we're like, wow, we thought this was a really good thing we were doing, but you want us to stop. Or you are on the fence about something and they're like, no, continue doing that. We really like that. And then finally, just simple, what questions? Prepare some questions for us ahead of time. What questions do you have in general about the way we run the facility or the way we do things? But again, you want to assign those type of questions, and there are many more out there that you could use so that you have ample pre-work to prepare these people for the meeting and to prepare yourself with some data. So as cliche as it is, I'm going to say it anyway. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. So again, before you conduct a meeting, give adequate pre-work so that the members are prepared and you're prepared to have the most effective meeting possible. Before we actually create an agenda, you do want to think logistics. And those logistics are the following. How often do you have these meetings? Are they quarterly? Are they 3 times a year? If you're only having one a year, then it's just a feedback meeting. It's not really a member advisory board. So how often are you going to have those? Are you going to have them on-site or off-site? Or maybe you do some of the meeting on-site, then you go off-site to talk about things. That's all up to you. You got to figure out what works best for you. And I've seen all of that work. Then finally, are you going to do it over lunch, over dinner, maybe over appetizers? But you do want to create some sort of special component to this meeting so they understand that they're appreciated. So a lunch, dinner, appetizers, that makes it a much better event. But think about those logistics. So now we're into the actual agenda of the meeting. And again, the more organized the meeting is, the more effective it's going to be and the better experience it's going to be for the members on your member advisory board. So what I recommend is an agenda similar to something like this. You're going to start with the state of the industry. Because these aren't industry professionals, they may have misconceptions about how our industry works. So it's a good idea to lay out what's going on in our industry, what's trending, how things really work, to give them sort of a baseline to go off of. And obviously this would be at the first meeting for that board or when you add new members. If you have the same people in multiple meetings, you might do a quick refresher, but you won't go so in depth. Then you want to do a state of your club. Now, only share what you feel comfortable sharing with members. Personally, I do things fairly transparently and I'm pretty open and honest with members. But you may not feel the same way, and that's okay. It's whatever you're comfortable with. But then give your state of the club. Where's your club at? Is it growing? What are the trends? What changes do you anticipate? Is there anything new you're going to be adding or taking away? And since you've set out how the industry works, they'll see how your club is in line with the industry. This just creates some better perspective. Then you're going to discuss the pre-work. Say, hey, you did pre-work, I've had a chance to review it, let's discuss some of these things. So they can elaborate on some of the stuff they might have shared. You can see what sort of crossover people have with each other, and that leads into a bigger brainstorm/discussion. Now everything's been set, the table's been set, they know the industry, they know where your club is at, they know each other's pre-work and their answers to those questions. So again, you're gonna discuss and brainstorm ways you can improve the member experience and move on from there. Then finally, the last piece, you're gonna summarize the meeting. So you'll have a chance to have put everything together. Somebody will be taking notes the whole time. And this is an opportunity to ask clarifying questions, see if there's any last thoughts that people have. And then you'll give them some, hey, here's some action items that we're going to do as a facility based on what we've experienced today. But when you have those type of steps, and there are other things you can add as well, but that creates a really good agenda, which makes sure the meeting is efficient and also effective. Again, I mentioned it earlier. If you just have it to have it, it can be a waste of time. And we want to make sure that it's not a waste of time for you as the facility or for the members that are giving you their valuable time to participate. One final thought. Earlier I mentioned you could do it as lunch, dinner, or just appetizers, but definitely find ways to surprise and delight the members of the member advisory board. As operators, we're always trying to surprise and delight our members. Do the same here. Maybe it's a raffle and somebody on the member advisory board that's in that meeting wins something, or you give them all a free pass that they can give out to friends, but do something special to make the meeting memorable beyond just the content. So there you have it. In this very short session, we learned all about a member advisory board, and it really boils down to doing a good job of selecting the members, assigning pre-work to make sure the meetings are effective, and then creating an agenda that makes sure we have the best meeting possible. So as we wrap up, I do want to make one thing very clear, and this goes for a member advisory board and any way that you seek feedback from members. If you're going to ask for feedback, you have to do something with it. Does it mean you have to do it all? No. There are three things. One, you act on it and do exactly what the people suggested. Two, you don't, but you explain why it's not a possibility. Or three, it's kind of a hybrid of both. Maybe you can't exactly do it, but you can do some similar things, but it's a hybrid. But if you're not going to take some sort of action, one of those three steps, you're better off not asking for feedback and not having a member advisory board. Don't ask unless you plan on doing something with it. But a member advisory board is very powerful. It makes members feel important. It shows them that you care, that you want to engage with them. It's a differentiator. It gives members a voice, and it provides you with valuable data. It allows you to provide an experience that people are looking for, the best experience possible. And let's not forget this. When you provide a great experience for members, they continue to come back to your facility. And when they continue to come back, they get healthier, they get stronger, they feel better. Everything about their life improves. So by doing this, it's not just about data and running a club. It's about providing an experience that changes people's lives for the better. And I'm not sure there's anything better than that. Thank you.